The winds howled through the desolate landscape as the archaeologists unearthed the final piece of the ancient artifact. Dusk was upon them, casting eerie shadows that seemed almost sentient, almost hungry. Dr. Alexandra Mercer, the leading expert on occult archaeology, sensed a palpable shift in the atmosphere. "Gentlemen, I think we've just awakened something we don't understand," she warned, her voice tinged with foreboding. The rest of the team laughed it off, attributing her nervousness to the looming darkness and the isolation of their dig site. They couldn't have been more wrong. As the artifact was fully extracted, the earth beneath them trembled, as if protesting the disturbance of its long-held secret. A series of guttural whispers filled the air, indecipherable but unmistakably malevolent. Within moments, their equipment malfunctioned, and a thick mist enveloped them. The team was too preoccupied with their newfound discovery to notice that they were no longer alone. The team members, now confined to their temporary camp due to the inexplicable equipment failure, found themselves at odds. Arguments broke out over whether to abandon the dig or continue their investigation into the eerie artifact. Dr. Mercer, increasingly alarmed by the events, decided to consult ancient texts she had brought along. As she leafed through the yellowed pages, her eyes widened. The artifact was not just historical, it was a key to something much darker. Outside, the mist grew thicker, and ominous shapes began to materialize within it. Unbeknownst to the team, a group of shadowy figures began to form a circle around their camp, their intentions unclear, but undoubtedly malevolent. Feeling a sense of urgency, Dr. Mercer tried to communicate her findings to the team. But her words were met with skepticism and ridicule, even as the temperature dropped and their electronic devices flickered erratically. Suddenly, a piercing scream echoed through the camp. One of the team members had gone outside to investigate the source of a strange noise and had not returned. The remaining members, including Dr. Mercer, were now gripped by a collective sense of dread. Dr. Mercer, refusing to be paralyzed by fear, took charge. "We need to form a protective circle around the artifact. It's our only chance to contain whatever we've unleashed," she ordered. Ignoring the team's protests, Dr. Mercer placed the artifact in the center of the makeshift circle. As she recited incantations from the ancient text, the artifact glowed with an eerie light, pulsating in time with her words. Outside the circle, the shadowy figures converged, growing more solid and menacing with each passing second. They seemed drawn to the artifact, but hesitated at the boundary of the circle, as if held back by an invisible force. Summoning all her willpower, Dr. Mercer completed the incantation. The artifact released a blinding flash, momentarily illuminating the surrounding darkness. When the light faded, the shadowy figures had disappeared, leaving an oppressive silence in their wake. The team, still trembling but alive, looked at Dr. Mercer with newfound respect. They had narrowly avoided catastrophe, but the haunting question remained. Had they truly contained the ancient evil, or merely postponed its wrath? The team members started to pack up their camp, still shaken, but eager to leave the accursed site. Dr. Mercer, however, lingered, staring at the now inert artifact. She couldn't shake the feeling that the entity they had encountered was not destroyed, but merely banished. And if it could be banished, it could return. Unwilling to leave the artifact behind, Dr. Mercer carefully placed it in a secure case. She intended to study it further, to ensure that the entity could never again pose a threat. The team reached their headquarters, submitting a heavily sanitized report to their sponsors. The artifact was stored in a high-security vault under Dr. Mercer's watchful eye. But as the world moved on, unaware of the near catastrophe, Dr. Mercer noticed that the artifact had started to vibrate ever so slightly. A subtle but chilling reminder that the veil between worlds was thinner than they had imagined. Weeks passed since the unsettling expedition. Dr. Mercer continued her research, always vigilant, always watching the artifact that was now locked away in a secure facility. Meanwhile, reports started trickling in from other parts of the world. Archaeologists and explorers were discovering similar artifacts, each emitting an ominous hum when brought close to another. Dr. Mercer felt a shiver down her spine as she read the reports. She knew that the ancient evil they had encountered was not an isolated incident, but part of something much larger and far more terrifying. As she pondered the implications, the artifact vibrated violently, as if resonating with its newfound kin. And for the first time, Dr. Mercer felt truly powerless against the looming darkness. So the world remained blissfully ignorant, even as the veil between dimensions wavered ever so slightly. And somewhere in that shadowy realm, an ancient evil stirred, patient and eternal, waiting for the perfect moment to breach the veil and reclaim its dominion.